So you might be wondering what the difference is between last year's Nike Match Ball and this year's Nike Match Ball. Well, the new one has their ACC All Conditions Control technology, which is invisible. So basically nothing. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you a quick review of the brand new Nike Merlin, the official replacement for the Ordom 5. This will be the official match ball for various professional leagues this upcoming season, which include the Premier League, La Liga, the Serie A in Italy, as well as the Russian Premier League. Now, just like every other match ball that's out there right now, the Nike Merlin is expensive with a $160 retail price, which begs the question, why would you buy this over the other match balls that are currently available? What makes it so special? And ultimately, is it even worth it in the first place? I'm gonna go over some key technologies that are exclusive to this new Nike Merlin. I think it's a really good performing ball, but I'll tell you exactly why that is in today's video. So if you want to learn more, please stick around and watch the entire thing. And if you are interested in one of these balls for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $160 retail price in all the different colorway variations. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. So before we get into tech specs and performance characteristics of the ball, I just want to talk about and take a closer look at the overall aesthetics, because they definitely made some major design changes visually versus what we had with the Ordom 5 that this replaces. I honestly think that this is one of the better looking match balls Nike has put out in the last couple of years. This, of course, is the Premier League variation. You can see the logo right there with the exclusive Premier League colors. So every league has their own colors for their specific match ball until we get to the high visibility ones, in which case they're pretty much all the same. Yellow base, generally with purple accenting graphics for the winter months, where obviously visibility can be a little bit of an issue because you're going to get more rain and just more severe weather in general. So this is likely the variation we'll see throughout the entire first half of the Premier League season at least. Anyways, white base with an accent color of basically like a dark blue outlining what are basically kind of pentagon shaped panels, even though it's not really a pentagon shaped panel, which we'll get into in just a second. And then highlights of Volt yellow as well as this teal color in what I think is a really cool looking graphic. You have some little accents with more of that teal, kind of highlighting the shape of the AEROTRAC grooves where they all meet in the middle of these very large panels. Only 4 in total technically on this particular ball. It does actually say Premier League Official Match Ball 2018-2019, which is pretty cool. And of course it does have the Merlin name, the FIFA approved badge, as well as ACC branding, which is very important for this particular ball as far as features go. And here's a look at the La Liga variant, which is again the exact same ball, just different coloring. So you have a white base, obviously the La Liga branding throughout the ball itself, and then your accent colors are going to be this maroon as well as a neon yellow and what I would describe as kind of a pink, although it definitely does have a reddish tinge to it as well depending on the lighting. Personally, I don't think that this color scheme looks bad, but I definitely prefer the look of the Premier League ball, at least in regards to the color combo. But let me know which one you guys think looks better down below in the comments. So when it comes to the actual performance of the ball, what's going to have the biggest impact on that is going to be the materials as well as the overall construction. And they have actually made some significant changes in comparison to the ball this replaces, the Ordom 5, in that this is really the first major design change that we've had for Nike match balls within the last 5 years. We've had Ordom 1 through 5 that realistically have kind of all been the exact same thing, with minor little tweaks that honestly haven't made that big of a difference over the last 5 years. But the best way for me to highlight what they've actually changed is to show you the design of an Ordom 5. The Ordom 5 features a 12-panel construction, with the panels themselves being this pentagon shape. You can see the outline right here in black. Obviously the ball is all fused together, and it looks like there are many other panels inside of the pentagon, but they're in fact just grooves within the panel itself called AEROTRAC grooves. But you have 12 of these pentagons to make an entire ball. The new Nike Merlin kind of maintains the same general design concept with the pentagon shaped panels, but they set out to have less panels in general as well as less seams on the ball, with the logic behind that being that if you have less panels and less seams, you're going to have a larger your sweet spot and more consistent contact feel and performance when striking the ball. So you can see the pentagon shape still exists, but what they've essentially done is they've taken 3 pentagons and made it into one single panel. So because they've done that, you go from a 12-panel construction to a 4-panel construction, which is something that is kind of unusual for an official match ball, but the end result is honestly something that feels almost identical to the Ordum 5 and really all the Ordums before it. It seems like an extreme design change, but the end result is not something that feels all that unfamiliar at all. Honestly, if you had a blindfold on and you were kicking a ball, which would be extremely difficult to do, you'd have a hard time telling the difference between the Merlin and any of the Ordums 1 through 5, just because they really do feel that similar. So like I said, these large panels basically make up for 3 pentagons in total that are put together. You can see the outline here in blue kind of highlights the shape of one individual panel, of which there are 4 in total. Now, because there are only 4 panels instead of 12 like there used to be, that also means that you're going to have less seams on the ball, which is the area where the panels connect to each other, all fused, of course, on this Nike Merlin as they were on the Ordum 5. But because there are only 4 panels now, you have 40% less seams on the ball, where the logic is that the seam is kind of the hard spot where you're going to have inconsistency in regards to how the ball comes off of your foot. So if there are less seams, the ball is going to feel more consistent no matter which part of the ball is struck. Does it actually make for a difference that you can actually feel? In my opinion, no, but it is definitely an interesting fact that is worth noting. You can also see that they did maintain the AEROTRAC groove concept, which is basically the indentations within the panels, these grooves, if you will, that run throughout the entire ball. And the logic of that being there is for cleaner airflow across the ball itself, allowing it to fly through the air supposedly more quickly as well as more consistently, kind of a true flight path, meaning that if you kick the ball straight, it's going to go straight. It's not going to do something unpredictable. And that's something that I really like about the Nike Merlin and really liked about the Ordum series as well. It seems to be very consistent and very predictable, which in my opinion is something that every match ball should have, because you will find that when you buy a really cheap ball, for example, it can kind of fly through the air in a slightly unpredictable manner, especially if struck the correct way. This isn't going to do that. It's going to be a lot more consistent. Can you still make it knuckle if you kick a knuckleball properly? Absolutely yes, you can do that with any ball. But in terms of overall consistency, if you're making a long pass as an example, if you make the pass correctly, the ball should go where you intended for it to go. It's not going to do anything unpredictable. Another carryover element from the Ordum 5 is of course the texturing on the surface, which is printed in 3D ink. At least that's what Nike calls it. It sounds very fancy. It feels fairly ordinary. It's a very minor texturing that does vary as far as pattern is concerned on the surface of the ball, and it's mainly there, I think, just so the surface isn't left completely flat. If it was a perfectly flat surface, water would stick on that flat surface and the ball would be more slippery in wet weather playing conditions. Speaking of wet weather, this ball does feature their ACC all conditions control technology, which is a fairly controversial element, and the first time we've ever seen this from Nike on an official match ball that will be used by professionals. So how big of an impact does ACC actually make? The simple answer to that question is almost no impact whatsoever. For those that don't know, ACC, all conditions control from Nike, is their wet weather control element that we've been seeing exclusively on their top end boots for several years now. Some people swear by it. Some people, like myself, don't think it does much of anything at all. At least I don't notice any significant difference in wet or dry conditions when wearing Nike boots with ACC, Nike boots without ACC, or any other boots from any other brand that also don't have ACC. I really feel like grip on the ball in wet or dry playing conditions has everything to do with the material of the upper, not this invisible ACC additive. But again, everyone has their own opinion on that. We now have it on a match ball. They have put it on some goalkeeper gloves as well. I can't really say how it works on the gloves. I would assume it really doesn't do anything at all, but I can tell you that on the ball, having used the Nike Merlin for the last month or so by myself, as well as with other players in all kinds of different weather conditions, dry, wet, artificial grass, you name it, I've used it on that surface. surface. And the general consensus from myself, as well as other people that I've used the ball with, seems to be that there is no noticeable difference between this, the Ortem 5 that it replaces, or really any other official match ball as far as grip levels are concerned in dry or wet weather. So I guess believe what you want when it comes to the ACC technology thing, but as far as having a significant noticeable impact in wet weather especially, I really didn't notice anything different about it at all. So we know it looks cool, we know it performs the part, but how is the durability? What's the build quality like? If you're gonna spend 160 bucks on a match ball, it better last a long time. And again, the ball hasn't been out for all that long. I've been using the initial release variation of the ball for about a month now, pretty much every single time that I play. And it's in perfectly good shape, no problems with it whatsoever. And I can honestly say, not just based on my experience with the Nike Merlin so far, but with Nike match balls in general, I would say match balls as a whole, even the Adidas ones, they're very well made, they're very well put together, they last a long time. As long as you take care of them, meaning that you're not using it on concrete or something like that as a street soccer ball, because that'll chew up just about anything. If you're using it on natural grass or even on artificial grass, the ball is going to hold up extremely well. AG fields are going to be harder on the ball, especially the graphics on the surface, but for the most part, as long as you take care of it, this ball is going to last for years and years and years, which is definitely good value for money when you're talking about the large initial investment. This is not going to break down and fall apart like a $20 ball will after a couple of months. Again, as long as you take care of it, it should last you a very long time. And I say worth it assuming that you can justify spending $160 on a match ball. If you can't justify that price tag, then by no means is it worth it. But if you have the money to spend and you want the best of the best as far as performance and quality is concerned, this is legitimately going to last you a very long time. So let's just be clear there. So in conclusion, I really do like the Nike Merlin Match Ball. Is it a drastic improvement or even an improvement at all over the Ortem 5 that it replaces? I was expecting it to feel a lot different, being that it went from 12 panels to 4, but honestly the difference is extremely minimal. Yes, this is a very good match ball, arguably the best of the best in terms of what's current and what's available. But I think if you can find an Ortem 5 on sale for half price, which you often can when a new match ball comes out, that is a much better value and is going to offer 99% of the exact same experience. All the design changes that they've made here, while very cool, while kind of the latest and greatest, it doesn't make for a drastic difference in feel. So for those that like to argue that a ball is a ball, which I do not agree with whatsoever, when you're talking about the differences between the Ortem 5 and the new Nike Merlin, especially considering the price gap that you'll find now that the old ones are on sale, there really isn't a significant enough difference, in my opinion, to justify spending 160 bucks unless you just have to have the latest and greatest ball and you don't mind spending the extra money. Highly recommended, really good ball. Arguably the best ball on the market right now, surely my favorite at the moment as well, but definitely not anything groundbreaking as far as feel, performance, and just anything about the ball in general isn't drastically different than what we've had for the last several years. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review of the Nike Merlin Match Ball. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in one of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $160 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching.